What's up YouTube, I'm back on Clash Royale, hot and ready to climb the ladder, but today's gonna be a little different. No, I'm not changing up my deck because you know my deck is cracked, but today I won't be commentating my battles, I'm gonna be telling a little story while my skill is on display in the background. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this first story is quite recent, it just happened yesterday matter of fact, and it's about how I almost witnessed a murder right in front of my house. Well, that might be a little exaggerated, but it was still quite violent. But anyways, let me get started. So I was in my room when I heard some girls outside screaming at each other. And for context, I live in the deepest part of the trenches, so something like this isn't super out of the ordinary. So I peeked out my windows to see a white car parked across the street facing the wrong way. Basically, my street is a one-way, so all the cars are parked facing right. So when I looked outside my window, the car was parked facing left, meaning someone drove down an entire street the wrong way, so you already know they were either really stupid or really angry. Or probably both, to be honest. But back to the story. So I heard some girls yelling, and when I looked out my window, I seen about 4 young black girls hop out the white Beamer, and they walked up to 2 other young black girls who I would assume are my neighbors. And I said I would assume they're my neighbors because I actually have never met all of my neighbors because I live next to a big apartment building and the tenants there change about every other month. So I had never seen these girls before. But anyways, the 4 girls from the white car walked across the street to my 2 neighbors, yelling at them the whole time. And once they got to my side of the street, one of the 4 girls put out her phone and started recording. So if you grew up in the force of nature, you already know what's about to happen. They're about to throw down, and I'm not talking about eating food.
What?
In real time, I thought the scene was going to be really ugly because I thought it was going to be a 4 versus 2 all-out war. But luckily, only one girl from the 4 wanted to fight one of my neighbors. So that's kinda good. And this is exactly how the fight played out. For some reason, they started to fight in the middle of the street, and it started off as any other normal fight with the 2 girls squaring up and throwing haymakers at each other. But it didn't take long for them to start grabbing at each other's hair and pushing each other around. And while that was happening, they made their way from the middle of the street to my side of the street, right next to my car. And eventually the girl from the white Beamer got my neighbor down on the ground and started beating the daylights out of her. And my other neighbor tried to jump in, but the other girls from the white Beamer stopped her because, you know, it was a one-on-one. But they let my neighbor stand up for some reason, because if you ever watched a street fight, you always hear someone in the background say, "Let him get up, let him get up." So now that my neighbor is standing up after getting the brakes beat out of her, they start up for round 2. And this round was much shorter, and it actually involved my car, because they didn't even bother throwing punches in the second round. They just started clawing at each other and backed up onto the hood of my car. And I wasn't really worried about my car because it's a piece of turd on 4 wheels, and both girls weighed about 90 pounds, so they couldn't deal any real damage to my car. But anyways, after clawing each other's hair out next to my car, I think my neighbor had enough and surrendered or something because the 4 girls got up, exchanged some words with my 2 neighbors, and hopped back in the Beamer to scurry away. I didn't get a clear look at my neighbor that was in the fight, but I know for sure she was dazed after getting hit with some 1-2 Mayweathers and 3-4 McGregors. And after the white Beamer pulled off, I stopped looking out my window, so I didn't really see the aftermath or if there was any blood. But the fight was pretty one-sided, so I wouldn't really say it was a fight, it was more of a beatdown / attempted murder. But hopefully everyone involved is okay, and hopefully the problem is resolved now. And let me know down in the comments what you think the fight was about. I couldn't really hear any of the conversation, so my guess is as good as yours. And if you ever witnessed something like this firsthand, let me know. Furthermore, thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like. And let me know if you want to see more of this type of content. And if you want to see more Clash Royale gameplay, make sure to subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.